Hi, 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 hi,
That's my
hi.
Muppet hello.
Hello, 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 hello. And okay, we're coming to you from my space of my Substack, my kind of personal Substack, right? Venus and Gemini. KP and I are normally in our little podcast universe of parts and charts, which is, it's a little cousin, little like it's related to our personal Substacks, but different. But that's how we usually are interacting in this space right here. So I'm like, okay, brain switch. I'm not in that mode, but kind of still in that mode. Still the same person, but we're kind of in a different platform here. And happy to bring you, yes, KP, astrologer extraordinaire, friend, beautiful human. We're we're going to be talking about the year ahead. 2026. It's that time already. Don't know how we got here. It's like I haven't even done my like year in review yet of 2025, but I will do that reflection. It's been a good year. It's felt both fast and slow, but here we are now in mid-December and it's that time to look at the next calendar year, although lots of different people have different, beginnings of the year. Like that could be later, that could be whatever. It doesn't have to be Jan 1, but we are using our little calendar. So we are going to look at it that way. And so I just want to go through I'm going to turn it over to you to provide us some information about, yeah, what you're seeing in the astrology for 2026. And right before we started recording, we were just talking about how we're going to synthesize this information using, both of our backgrounds and perspectives and everything that we have to bring to each other. KP was like, you're going to help ground this in the 8 C's and, self energy. And I was like, okay. And she's a magician, so she's gonna give us, full data and how to just like navigate, go into this year, navigate, move around and do your, matrixy stuff. So yeah, we're gonna work together on this. And then ground it in some rituals or things that we like to do for our own personal lives, kind of with that beginning of the year energy. We have a few like solstice rituals and
Mhm.
beginning of the year rituals that we'll mention as well. Okay, hi
Um,
Katie.
right. And one of my like ways of dealing with it is the Time Lord technique, which is something that Chelsea always giggles at when I say the Time Lords, the Time Daddies.
Mhm.
Okay, so yeah, that was a good introduction. I do want to say, like, I've been doing these year ahead talks in very different settings. There's been like really straightforward settings, like, do not plan a retreat in this month, kind of like the practical. And then there's the marketing, like, people are going to be exhausted in October. So maybe don't market a launch for a new product
Mhm.
or an event or whatever in October unless you're very confident that exhausted people will buy your event or your product. So this is where I like to be the most is like, how can we look at the data and then feel it, play with it, see how it
Mhm.
changes us or see how we can change with it. So it's like, this is where I like
Mhm.
to be. Okay. So where I want to start is like, there's so much happening in any given moment. We can go week by week, we can go month by month, we can go
I
season by
know.
season. But
Mhm.
I chose three different topics that I think will be helpful for people who are interested in their creativity, clarity, being in self energy.
Mhm.
The first topic, the big topic, is all of the outer planets will be shifting from a yin sign to a yang sign. Pluto's already in a yang sign. Pluto has been in Capricorn for a very long time, since 2008, I believe, and moved into Aquarius last year for good. Well, not for good, for a while. So he's already in the yang sign from a yin sign. And that, like, I think that we're already feeling that with like technology, power. I think 2025 it has been a very strong display of what happens
Mhm.
when power becomes greater than it should be. but
Mhm.
it's Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune that have been in yin signs and will be moving into yang signs. So let's talk about
Do you
Jupiter first. Jupiter in
can I
oh, God.
ask first, like, what are the yins and what are the yang signs?
Yeah, okay, good question.
Yeah.
So yin signs are the water and earth signs, and the best way to think about it is that those signs, those 6 signs, tend to have more of a receptive nature, um, or tend to
Mhm.
be like if we're thinking about gravity, they tend to be on the bottom, water and earth.
Oh.
And then the yang signs tend to have more of a like overt or active way of being, and they tend to be on the
Yeah.
top, fire and air.
Wow.
Um, but that's yin yang.
Mhm.
In general, the way that I see it, like if we're thinking about how the cosmos can change or respond to society, like groups of people, yin yin periods of time tend to be periods of time that feel hermetic or quiet
Mm,
or things are changing, but it's usually more internal. That's like also the season of winter is a very yin season. We
mhm,
like go inward. We reflect often in that season. And then when there's a
mhm.
yang period of time where there's a majority of yang signs in the sky or planets are in yang signs in the sky, there tends to be more activity, like external activity. Things tend to be launched. Things tend to I mean, like, wars usually are more active or more
Yeah.
common in yang periods.
Yeah.
So that's generally I shouldn't say wars because that sounds like I'm saying, like, "We're starting war this year." Though some astrologers are saying that, I don't want to repeat that
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
what you say happens. So Jupiter takes 1 year in every sign, and Jupiter has been in Cancer. Cancer is his favorite sign to be in. And then he moves into Leo June 29th. So we have
Okay.
basically half the year left of Jupiter in Cancer. And then at the
Mhm.
second half, Jupiter is in Leo. I don't want to get too deep into what that might mean for people, but I'll be very general. Like Jupiter is what our psyches, our societies tend to focus on in that year. The
Mm,
stock market usually relates to that. So cancer leaning industries tend to grow versus like we're turning into a Leo season. So Leo kind of industries tend to go. So like maybe Hollywood will have an upswing when Jupiter's in Leo, that kind of
mm,
thing. Saturn will be moving into Aries for good. So Saturn's been kind of going in and out of Pisces and Aries for a little bit, but Saturn on February 13th will be in Aries for 2 more years. He does like a 2.5 year trip through each sign, and he's very consistent. Like there's no short trips or long trips. So for 2 more years, we have Saturn in Aries energy. Saturn is very uncomfortable in Aries energy because Saturn likes to
really?
do things the long way, yeah, very slow. Saturn exalts in Libra, and
Mm,
I that's a
mm,
whole topic that I love talking about, but I'll just say Saturn loves being in Libra because Libra deliberates, Libra considers. Libra takes time to see what the pros and cons are of a situation. Aries
mm,
just decides and does it. So Saturn's not very comfortable there, but that doesn't mean that we're gonna have a bad time. It's just I'm seeing this as like a marketing perspective of like if you're planning something that is like an 8-month long event, you might
yeah.
want to cut it in half, or you might want to make that 1 month long. Or if you're planning a
Uh,
6-day festival, you might want to make it a 2-day festival. Like that kind of thing.
totally.
Like the energy will just be very much like we're like switching between topics or activities more quickly than we have been in the past.
Oh.
And Saturn has been in slower signs for a while, for about 7 years, I would say
Mhm.
maybe a little less than that. So Saturn has been acting where he's a little bit more comfortable. That's a very broad statement, but now he's moving into the shorter moving signs in a very, very like quick tempered kind of energy. So that's really interesting.
Uh,
Uranus is also for sure, not for sure. I mean, we know when the dates are. Uranus is moving into Gemini from Taurus on April 25th, I believe it is. Yeah. April 25th. So Uranus has also been doing this dance in and out of Taurus for a little bit, and he spends about 6 to 7 years in every sign.
mm,
When Uranus is in Taurus, we can anticipate or we could see issues or disruptions with land, which I do think that was a big topic. We saw a lot of disasters, like natural disasters. There was a huge
mhm.
uptick in the past 7 years.
Yeah.
Switching Uranus switching to Gemini, I anticipate there being more disruptions with media, language, technology. Technology is more of an Aquarius thing, but Gemini has a lot to do with communication, which in our day and age has a lot to do with technology. So that's something to keep in mind in our personal charts. Wherever Uranus changes or moves, there is a very visible change. But it's interesting because change that lasts or takes over 7 years is kind of harder for humans to track because our memories are more in that year cycle. At least in mine, like we do like
Yeah.
2025 was, 2026 was. I
Yeah.
don't really think back 6 or 7 years ago and think about what changed in that period, you know?
Mhm. Mhm.
So it's harder to track, but I think you'll see it really clearly starting April 25th, what that theme is for you in your life. And personally,
Hmm.
like, when Uranus was in Gemini for the first time last year or this year, sorry, very briefly, Uranus moved into my sixth house of health and routine. And that's when so much changed, like almost overnight with my health and like how I
Really?
definitely medications. My allergies also completely like went away for a bit. It was really strange. So I did see a really big change in that house for me. And I
Mm.
honestly, like, even as an astrologer, I was like, really? Like, was very literal. So last one is Neptune. Neptune takes a very much longer time in each sign. It's about 11 years, maybe 12 years. I'm not sure. But Neptune has been in Pisces for a while and will
Mhm.
be in Aries starting January um 2038 and 2039 because it does a little bit of a dance. Okay. Neptune is the planet that I'm really, really interested in right now because Neptune is like our culture planet. So, it, trends are kind of like a 3 month thing or 2 year thing. Like trends kind of have a differing cycle depending on what industry you're talking about. But Neptune usually gives us a really good idea of what books are about, movies are about, what we're talking about, what type of person people are following. Like if we're thinking about social media, Neptune in Pisces was the era of the like spiritual influencer. So when did that begin? That'd be 2004, I believe, that Neptune turned into Pisces. So around 2004 is when tarot started being more widely used.
Mm. Mhm.
Astrology started more being like talked about. Um,
Mhm.
People started seeking out like ayahuasca retreats. And that seems really clear to me. So then, like, keeping that in mind, what do you think Neptune in Aries energy for about 12 years will look like? Like, what does Aries energy say to you? And I've been saying cowboy, but I'm curious, Chelsea, like, what does Aries culture moment look like in your head?
Mm.
I should also say you will not no human will experience the same Neptune in a sign in their lifetime. So this is the only Neptune and Aries moment in your lifetime that you'll experience. So you don't have body experience, but you might have ancestral experience of Neptune and Aries, which was the Civil War.
Oh, really? Wait, the last time?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. That's another reason why I'm like, it's cowboys, it's Rough Riders. Like the Wild
Wild.
West was so
Mm.
huge around that era for the Americans.
I watched so much like 2 iterations of Little Women, so I think of, like, Civil War time, I'm just, like, going straight to Little Women.
Yeah, yeah.
The March Sisters.
That's interesting because there was a really interesting uptick in feminism, well, like proto-feminism in that point, where
Mhm.
women like not so often using nom de plumes in order to publish.
Nom
They
de
started like
plumes.
yeah. So what else do you think about Aries energy could translate to cultural trends?
I don't
Putting you
know.
on the spot.
What? I don't know if I'm good at, like, picking up on cultural trends or predicting cultural trends.
Yeah.
Do you?
I mean, I think that I'm just bold enough and arrogant enough to say what I think. I know I'm gonna be wrong. 12 years from now, I'll be like, "We didn't even talk about one
I
cowboy."
mean, I feel yeah, I'm here for, like, cowboy, cowgirl energy for sure, or,
Yeah,
like, sexy witch cowboy, but I wonder I mean, yeah, I just, like, associate so much Aries energy with impulsivity and, kind of like we were talking about these, like, shorter bursts of things, and, a part of me is really, like is really having a reaction to that because I just feel like our culture is already so short, so,
Yeah, yeah,
into, like, everything brief because of our attention spans, or we already switch so quickly between things, and I'm like, "No, we need more long form," and I've already seen that playing out in a few areas, with people just wanting more, like, of course, in-person connection, but something that's a little bit more meaningful and not quick and, like, even containers of quick intimacy. Like, I don't I participate in a lot of that in different spiritual communities, and, like, while I think we all crave in-person connection, and then these, like, short containers, like an ecstatic workshop or something, where you're just dropping in for 2 hours or something like that,
yeah,
and it's, like, sometimes kind of forcing really quick intimacy, and then you go away, and you never see those people again. It's like, I kind of feel like it's that energy a little
yeah.
bit, and I'm not loving it. I'm like,
I get
yeah,
that,
that's,
yeah.
like, I think that's important, that definitely serves something, but I think there's also a lot to consistency, right? And, like, continue to show up to something every Monday, every week for 6 months, and building
Yeah,
intimacy that way is too, and I just feel like that's what a lot of people crave, and so it's like these kind of glimmery moments of, like, short this or that, and then we switch is, like, fun, and I think that can be, seductive, but
yeah.
also kinda leaves you feeling a little empty, or, like, yeah, it's just, like, not it's just giving you a little bit, a little taste.
I think that you are already 11 years ahead of us because it's usually around
Really?
the end of a Neptune, like, transit that people are like, "Wow, I'm so sick of this."
Mhm.
Yeah, so you're
Yeah.
anticipating the lesson at the end, like, I think the lesson we're getting from Neptune and Pisces ending is, like, wow, people had spiritual psychosis online, and, like, we spent
Oh,
so much money to listen to these gurus, like, that's how I'm
everything.
feeling, or we paid to play something that's free, which is a spiritual connection to the
Yeah.
divine or ourselves, you know? Um, that's how I felt culture was. Or also, like, I think the buy into
Yeah.
celebrity culture was, like, so delusional,
Yeah.
or, like, the parasocial relationship, I think, is maybe what I'm commenting on. It's like we felt like we were
Yeah.
close with people that don't even know we exist. That's so
Don't know
Pisces.
us, we don't know them, like, why
Yeah,
do we care so much about what
yeah,
they're doing? Yeah,
yeah.
right?
So then I think the first part of Neptune and Aries, like, the part that we get to feel excited about, like, because it's new, I think it really has to do with, like, the self. Aries is the
Mhm.
self. Like, "I am" is the Aries motto.
That's right.
Aries just, like, likes to do, likes to be, likes to try, you know?
Mhm.
So I wonder if there's gonna be more bungee jumping, maybe there's gonna be more running around the world, although
Mhm.
that's kind of more endurance, but maybe there's
Mhm.
more sprints of running?
I hope that if we're gonna go metaphysical, like, the I am is so important, right?
Yeah,
I am everything.
yeah,
I am,
yeah.
like, you are the creative force in the universe, like, you have that within you, right? We all have that God energy, God consciousness, whatever you wanna call it, in us to create. Yeah,
This makes me think
everything.
of John Muir. I never say his name correctly.
Uh-huh.
Muir? Muir? I think he was really active around Neptune and Aries last time. Is that true?
Really?
60s?
Yeah, right? He's a controversial guy too, 'cause
Oh,
'cause of
okay. I mean, you would know more about him because he's from Wisconsin,
I
but
mean, it's is he really? Wow. Yeah, and then he went west. I mean, just,
Mhm.
controversial in a colonizing way. Like,
Right, right, yeah.
of, just carving out, and it's like, yeah, yeah, it's 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 layered, right? The what he did, it's like, yeah, that's great. He charted this, path and literally carved out paths, and but also kind of conquered an area that, like, wasn't his.
Right. And then from my perspective,
And
he
then, like,
he
kind of
taught white
like,
people
made
how
it
to
his
sit
own.
still.
It's what is that?
From my perspective, he taught white people how to sit still and, like, look.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the reverence for nature is like, yeah, we know that's we all can appreciate that, right?
Yeah.
It's like he loved it, and there was a lot of indigenous people on that land, and then he just, like, kinda set up shop and, like,
I think I have
um
to read about him now. I've just seen quotes
I feel
on
like
benches.
I wonder if he is an Aries, or maybe I feel like he's gotta be Taurus or something.
Yeah, we'll look it up. I'm curious, like, what major artists were born or active in this Neptune and Aries period in the middle 1800s, because
Yeah.
I think that also tells us, like, what it might be like now. And I right now, I don't know who was really active around the 1850s, 60s. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
do my research. I have
I
12.
mean, that was such a time, it was like that was the gold rush. It was such a time of expansion, exploration,
Yeah,
going west, all of that stuff, but, like and just, like, massive creation too of
yeah,
I mean, amidst, yeah, this huge civil war. Like, there's so much change. That was, like, yeah, such a pivotal time, right?
yeah.
Yeah, for at
Okay,
least in our country, yeah.
we talked plenty about the outers. So
The
that's just,
Outers.
like, it's not common. It's super not common for Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune to go into the same yang sign in 1 year, and then also Jupiter is going into yang. So it's just like
Oh,
we're going to feel a huge shift from the receptive to the active, and I don't
okay.
know how that's gonna feel, obviously, for all of us, but I think it's gonna be so felt,
Mm,
especially by April.
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. The second thing that I am curious about, especially for your thoughts, is something I'm a little nervous about, which is the Venus retrograde.
Okay.
Venus retrogrades in general. So, Venus is the planet of values and
Yeah.
appreciation, love, money. It's the planet that shows us a little bit about how we relate, how we connect.
Mhm,
So think about, like, when the planet of connection, values, caring, like all of those, like, positive ways of being,
mhm,
like, what happens when that planet goes backwards?
mhm,
The feeling is not necessarily like we don't connect anymore, but there's just like there's inherently a strained experience. And I am not afraid of strained experiences because I know that friction brings clarity or friction brings insight,
mhm, mhm,
but I'm nervous about Venus retrograde because socially it often lines up with or co-creates, people would say, uprisings.
mhm,
One a major Venus retrograde was the Black Lives Matter uprisings in 2020 after George
mhm,
Floyd was murdered.
mhm.
I think that was in Gemini. I
Yeah,
could be wrong. But so that's gives me some nervousness because, but
yeah,
then also like hope
yeah,
that that actions are like when we fight back because of our values or because our values are being fought against, that
yeah,
energy is good for us, right, as a society, but it's inherently difficult. But emotionally or more personally, Venus retrograde can look like you're really reconsidering how you do things when it comes to money and love or connection.
okay.
It
Yeah,
could also be how like you're really like undoing or reconsidering like how you want to be in this world. Like are you living your values? And then by the end of a Venus retrograde, you could be completely pivoting. So it can be a dramatic experience for some people, and it can be more of an internal, like, discovery period for some people. So the dates for that is October 3rd to November 14th, but Venus
mhm,
starts slowing down before October 3rd. So the end of
mhm,
September might feel like you can feel a storm coming, like, when it gets really quiet and you're like, "What's happening? Why is the sky green?" Like, that's the kind of feeling of the end of September. And then after November 14th, you also might have that, like, aftermath feeling. So, yeah, that's something that's on my mind. It's in the signs of Scorpio and Libra.
oh, okay. Did we have one of those this year? 2025?
We had, one in I think it was just Aries. I don't think it was in Taurus at all or Pisces.
Um,
No, it was in Pisces. So it
wow.
was the later degrees of Pisces, early degrees of Aries.
Okay.
And it was especially difficult because Mars had been
Okay.
retrograding as well.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
Mars, yeah.
yeah, but this Scorpio Libra, but mostly Scorpio retrograde in Venus retrograde happens every 8 years. That's like her cycle. So
Oh, got it,
every 8
okay.
years also that Pisces Aries retrograde that we had earlier this year happens. Yeah. So that's another thing to think about. Is like what happened 8 years ago during the Venus retrograde, it often looks very similar in your life. Like if you're leaving a job, it often looks like you're going to leave a job again. Or if you wrote a book or something like that, like it usually repeats the pattern, but it's always different, obviously, because
Mhm.
we're humans and nothing's the same. So that's something that I'm curious about your perspective around that. Like, how do you
Mhm.
approach knowing that there's going to be difficulty relationally?
And you don't have to, like, give me specifics, but do you feel like you can if you just took a minute and checked inside, would you be able to identify, like, a part or parts of you that are feeling nervousness about it? You don't
Yeah,
have to tell me, like, what part that is, but do you feel like you could track that?
it feels very personal. You know,
Yeah,
as an astrologer, I can look ahead to transits and I'm like, oh, that's going to affect people, but it may not affect me at all.
right,
This
okay.
this this
Yeah,
retrograde is very personal to me because I have my Venus in Scorpio and like 3 of my personal planets in Libra, so I
that's
know
right, yeah, okay.
there's going to be something. It's not over any of the degrees of those planets, which gives me a little bit of
Yeah,
peace.
yeah,
Well, I'm worried.
yeah.
I don't know what
Can
part of
can
me.
you yeah, can yeah, you don't have to tell me what it is if you don't want, but if you just kinda check inside, do you feel like you could sense, like, what feels worried?
It's the sense of like foundations. So I don't know if that's the part, but the message I got is like I'm worried that my foundations are going to be hit.
Yeah, yeah, so something's really worried about just kind of you know, everything kinda crumbling or, like, the rug being pulled out from underneath you or something like
Yeah.
that? Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, I that's where I would start, right? If you're noticing, like, well, I'm feeling having a reaction to or something's coming up around a specific transit or, yeah, planet shifting, like, trace that back to where like, what's feeling worried about that? Like, what and can you work with that, right? What's the fear? Is it, fear of, is bad things happening, like money, like this with a specific person or whatever the thing is, and just work with that, right? Because we don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
We don't know how that transit's actually going to shake out for you. But there's some some parts that are feeling scared, right? Feeling nervous, feeling like I don't know if I'm going to be okay. And so working with any parts that are feeling like that, really like helping them feel like you're going to be okay. Like you've got this. We don't know what's going to happen. Also, good things could happen. So that's my advice. Yeah, I mean, I just think like any time to revisit what your values are and live them, I think is so truly valuable.
Yeah.
Values are valuable. Like, yeah, I get like fear of, money going away or not coming in for sure. But I really love the time to that's forcing us to look at what our values are and what we appreciate and just, how we're living and coming out of that a changed person.
Yeah.
How exciting.
The way I see it is like she's going through the sky and doing this for us as like an act of good hygiene. You know,
Yeah.
like you always
Yeah.
have to like look in the corner, clean this room, like, but you can't
Mhm.
constantly be doing that. So she only does it every 8
Yeah,
years,
for real.
you know,
Mhm.
every 8 years in this part of your chart. She's like, let's
Mhm.
just take a moment. Is this actually
Right?
working?
Do a deep
Yeah.
clean. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Here's what I think is happening for me is that it's happening in my career and my like social house.
Wait, which is 11?
Yeah, my career is the 10th and then
Oh,
the
10th.
10th is like like-minded individuals, social houses.
Okay.
And I
Yeah.
feel like I've made so many pivots already that I'm like, "Okay,
Not another pivot?
is this the granddaddy of pivots?" Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What was it this year? Ninth?
Oh,
What was it in 2025?
it was
Or what
Pisces
was
and Aries,
oh,
so it would
Pisces.
be 3rd and 4th house for me, and for you, it would
Oh,
be 8th and ninth.
for 2025. Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like I didn't even notice it this year, 2025.
I think there was so much going on in the first half of this year that it was like, "Okay, I'm just tired."
Like, right? It's like, yeah, right. Yeah.
Nothing's happening, a lot is happening.
Yeah. It was like, what's what? Yeah. Hmm. For
That
real.
Mars retrograde was really difficult for so many reasons. Yeah.
Yeah. What's
Yeah.
Mars doing this year in 2026?
So Mars is not retrograding until the last day or 2 of
Of the
2026.
year?
Yeah, it technically starts in January, but the slowing down begins in December.
Okay. We won't worry about that
We
then.
get a break. We get a break from that. That's good. But it's something to keep in mind because at the turn of the year, we may be feeling something, especially for the Aries and Scorpio dominant people who are
Oh,
both
okay.
Gemini's. Yeah.
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 What would be the best time for us to host a retreat?
Very good question. Yeah, I was looking very clearly or closely because spoiler alert, Chelsea and I are looking for a date for retreat. So right now it looks like May and June are the best months of the year
Yeah.
for not having any roadblocks. And I'm very cautious when I say that because, you can't predict anything. But there's
Mhm.
not like major difficulties that we can see in the sky for those 2 months. The other months
Okay.
of the year, you have to look really closely to, like, make decisions. So May and
Mhm.
June are good. July is complicated, not bad, but complicated.
Really?
April's complicated, but not bad.
Okay.
February is the month of pivots. Like, there's so much
Yeah?
happening with Uranus and the eclipse in Aquarius where it's just like the way that I s the way that I'm predicting what will happen is that every single person will be deciding what they didn't like, they'll be thinking about something in a different way than they were in January. Like, it's gonna
Really?
be, like, to the point where I'm like, if you're planning something in March, maybe wait until after February to, like to commit.
Oh, yeah. Those eclipses are gonna be big, huh?
Yeah. Well, it's the Uranus energy and also the eclipse.
Yeah.
Like, usually
Mhm.
eclipses, I'm like, "Okay, just, like, give space to them because they need space to bring people together or apart."
Yeah.
But there's, like, almost every planet is squaring Uranus that month at different dates, so there's a lot happening. That's the month of breath work and meditation because Uranus can really disrupt the nervous system.
Wait, and that's February, right?
Yeah.
Where is my Uranus? 5th house? Sag.
Yeah, in Sagittarius. Oh, yeah, you're gonna have a personal Uranus transit soon. We'll talk about it.
Okay. Off the air.
Everyone in their early 40s has a Uranus transit. It depends on the year, but yeah.
What does that mean? Uranus transit.
Well, this is a topic that might take us down a rabbit hole, but that's
Yeah.
what we call part of the midlife crisis or the Kundalini rising.
Mm,
And when
okay.
people aren't in their body or in their alignment of their values, it looks like a crisis, like a midlife crisis, which is a rising.
Okay.
Yeah. So in your mid to late 30s is when you're being asked by God, by spirit, by energy, by yourself to really live the one life you get to live. And if
Um,
you deny it long enough, like it'll look really messy on the outside. And that's
got
the
it.
Uranus
Yeah.
square. Yeah.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah. But everyone, I think it's between age 40 and 44, depending on your birth chart.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think yours is later than other people's, like, mine's 41, and I think yours is 44. I
Really?
already looked this up, like, a year ago, and I didn't tell you. You and Brina, our friend Brina, have your midlife crises, in quotes, later than most people.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Okay.
I do wanna say one thing, I can't lay throw a bomb and not say this. These crises moments usually
Yeah.
are one of the most beautiful, like, points in
Yeah.
lives. Like, this is usually the period of time where, like, artists really find their stride or, like, their
Yeah.
tone or their sense, or, like, when a novelist, like, really releases their first big one, you know? Like, so it's, like, it's a
Yeah.
great moment if you aren't denying yourself from your creativity.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I'm not worried about you.
Okay.
I don't think you're gonna be dating 17-year-olds or wait, 18-year-olds and then buying a Mercedes, you know?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay, so last thing, okay. I don't wanna talk about the eclipse seasons because there's so much about that, but I'll just very
Yeah.
briefly mention that the lunar nodes are switching from Pisces and Virgo to Leo and Aquarius mid-year. And that is a whole topic. It's like the nodes of the moon, which is where the eclipses happen. The nodes of the moon really give us a good sense of what our collective unconscious and our personal psyches are processing. So we're moving from the yin energy of Pisces and Virgo, that axis, they're across from each other, to Leo and Aquarius, which is yang. Okay, so that's the brief mention I'm going to say about the eclipses and the nodes, and then the next and the last major thing I want to talk about is Chiron.
Oh,
Which
yeah.
so Chiron takes various years through each sign, and Chiron has been in Aries for a while. I can't remember the exact amount of years, but I think Aries is the longest transit for Chiron, which is interesting because Chiron is the entity we can say planet of deep woundedness and healing.
Mhm.
That's like the gist of Chiron. So Chiron takes the most amount of time in Aries, the archetype that I think a lot of people struggle with because Aries rules war and strife, conflict. So it's so interesting to me that Chiron takes most his longest trip in Aries and his shortest trip in Libra. And Libra is the sign of connection, discernment, compromise. So that's one thing that I've been really studying lately. Chiron is moving from Aries into Taurus from June 19th to September 17th. And then he has a couple more moments in Aries before he's like fully in Taurus for a while. So that's interesting to me because Chiron is the major thing that's changing this year from yang to yin, where everything else is changing from yin to yang.
Okay.
So I really wonder how this is going to play out for people because it might look like we have more things happening externally, and then
Uh-huh.
processing inward might be more in the body, more the Taurus energy, like more creative. Taurus is the artist, the
Mhm.
creator, the person who uses their hands to like mold clay into pottery. Like
Mm.
that's the Taurus energy. So I wonder if
Mhm.
there's going to be a sense of like really leaning into our creative nature or our
Mm.
bodies to heal. And I feel like that's
Yeah.
already been happening, but Aries energy would look more like burning things out or releasing things through steam or fire or that kind of thing. So I don't have a lot to say about this because I don't have a sense for what that might feel like. I will say though that the people who are Aries dominant in their chart get some relief finally because it's been rough. It's been super rough for Aries placement,
Yeah.
especially for Aries Venuses, Aries moons, Aries suns.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you get some relief for a brief moment.
So, you know, there seems to be a lot of Aries, like, and everything I've seen online and what you're telling me right now, like, there's a lot of Aries themes
Oh
next
yeah.
year. So just like, there's so many planets in Aries next year. Is that right? And so it's just that seems like a huge thing
Yeah.
for those for Aries placements and that energy. And how and does that also correlate since it's a cardinal sign to the other cardinal signs?
Oh
Or how
yeah.
does that relate to the other cardinal signs? As a Cancer trying to ask asking for a
Well,
friend, her name is me, Chelsea Cancer.
I looking at personal transits, if you do have early Oh, that's not true. Okay, but if anyway, so yeah, if you have cardinal placements, you will have more of an effect depending on the degrees of your placements.
Okay.
So like if Saturn is 1 degrees Aries and you have maybe a Libra placement 23 degrees Libra, there's not going
Yeah.
to be an effect on them other than they
Okay.
share an opposing sign, which does have
Okay.
some influence. But that's the best I can explain it without doing the super nerd computer talk.
Too
Yeah.
much math. Okay.
Yeah. Um
Yeah.
I think the way that I want to approach this Aries energy, and I think I do have difficulty with Aries energy because of various reasons with my birth chart.
Yeah.
I have 0 fire in my birth chart, so I think Aries energy just inherently feels uncomfortable or
Oh,
new to
right.
me. But the
Yeah.
way I wanna approach it is, like, I wanna practice being myself. Like, I heard someone say recently in a video, like, "I am the only person who gets to be me, and this is the only lifetime I get to be me, so why don't I just, like, be me and, like, do it, do it, do it?"
Hmm.
Like, that's how I wanna see Aries energy is, like, how about defining myself?
Mhm.
And making that feel good and expressing that.
Mhm.
Like, Aries is a really creative sign. Aries has,
Yeah.
like, unlimited energy, it seems like, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, channeling that fire energy into, like, expression, that's how I wanna approach.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. That's really exciting for you. It's the fire sign that, if I have Leo in my chart. I also do like Sagittarius energy, or like I can vibe with it.
Big fan.
And but like of the fire signs, Aries just feels like I haven't connected to it much. Even though I have mad respect because it's, a fellow cardinal.
Yeah.
So I respect its leadership. So maybe that's our thing for the year. And you pulled the Emperor for me, so like
That's
that is the
true.
Aries card, right? And
Yeah.
so yeah, maybe we're also learning more about how we're interacting with Aries energy in ways that work for us, and not the outdated ways of thinking about Aries as like, I don't know, domineering. Is that what people think? Or it's like impulsive. It is kind of impulsive, but
Unapologetic?
like bossy. I don't even know.
Yeah.
Unapologetic. That's kind of cool.
Did you
Yeah.
say medical?
No, that's cool. That's
Oh,
cool.
that's cool. Yeah.
Unapologetic. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that what I wanna see in Aries and, like, believe in my body is, like, the energy of, like, not having to soften what is, or, like,
Yeah.
not having to question what is, like, it just is. And I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of my experience is, like, I want to do something, I do it, and then I'm like, "Was that good enough? Was that okay?" Da, da, da.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Aries energy is just like, "Well, I did it, so, like, I
Mm-hmm.
did it," like, that then it ends there. We don't have to do the breakdown of it afterward, like, it
That's
exists,
so true.
you
Yeah.
know? And
Yeah.
I think that
Mm-hmm.
can rub people the wrong way if people want more self-reflection from an Aries dominant person, but, like,
Mm-hmm.
Aries archetype
Yeah.
energy. I think we
Yeah.
have to separate, like, the shadow side of Aries energy and look at the archetype of, like, how are we going to step into Aries energy?
Yeah.
Like, I
I
wanna
think
make
you just
something and
described
that works.
confidence. Like
Yeah,
that feels like
confidence.
confidence.
Yeah,
It's not the self-doubt of like, yeah, ruminating about something for 2 hours after you said, one sentence, right?
yes,
It's like that's what I believe. It's coming from my core. It's coming from self, right? So I think that's also a huge piece of it. And then you
yeah,
don't have to do as much self-reflection because you can trust that where it was coming from was where it feels true for you,
yeah,
like that didn't come from this part of me that was really pissed off. And so it blew up at you and said a mean thing. It's like it can come from self leading, right?
yeah,
Where it's like, oh, I'm confident in what I said, and that felt true, and that felt right, and that felt just, and that felt kind, and that felt, you know, authentic to me.
yeah. It makes me think of that wisdom that I think I've heard in, like, how to deal with a narcissist circles, so forget that, but where, like, you know who you are, and they can have the narrative they need of you for themselves, but you know who you are, and that's all
Yeah.
you need. That's Aries energy, you know? And there's trust in that too. So the confidence, trust, courageousness. It's really courageous to be yourself and not pre-curb or anticipate how someone's going to take how you are and just do it. Just be it.
Oh, I'm
So like there's parts of me who like are very afraid of doing that and I'm excited to
for
practice.
sure, right? How often we hold ourselves back from something from the anticipation that a part of us, is so, so worried X, Y, and D is going to happen, or I can't say that thing because she's going to respond this way. And then X, Y, and D is going to, there's so much that we do
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
protect ourselves and so much anticipation or assumption that we do about other people and how they're going to respond to us or think about us. And even if they do, right, doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
I mean, it does. You might,
Yeah.
a friendship might end or whatever the thing might happen. But it's sometimes also like in your best interest for the thing to happen, right? As well, in order for things to
Yeah.
move or like for you to grow or for the other person to grow. Yeah. And I think that we kind of need that little spark in order to move things forward, to move us
Yeah.
forward or higher.
I'm glad you brought up protection because the Aries way of protecting themselves is like they just trust that if someone's going to attack them, they're going to win because they have the strongest head. Like the ram has, you cannot beat a ram because this is the
Yes.
hardest, like it's harder than diamonds. So like, and they fight things head on. So like they don't, it's
Oh,
difficult to even concept that there's subterfuge happening behind them because the way
yeah.
that they deal with things is like, okay, well, like if you want to fight me, fight me. Like,
Yeah.
won't talk about it for 10 years and then have someone else talk to me about it. Like, yeah, that's how they protect themselves is they just
Uh-huh.
trust they can do it.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
It's more physical, it's more present.
Mhm. Yeah.
I'm like definitely talking from my other selves right now because like I'm the one who thinks like 10 years ahead of like what I need to yeah. So,
Mm.
yeah, I'm
Mhm.
excited. I'm nervous and excited. Yeah.
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 Yeah. This feels exciting. I don't know what's gonna happen in 2026. Parts of me feel like not that much happened in 2025. I know that's not true, but
Oh, but astrologically, that tracks.
really? For me or for everybody?
Everyone, like a lot happened, but
Yeah.
not much was moved. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Or it just feels like just bad things. Just like
Yeah.
disappointments or
Yeah.
more destruction, more disappointments, more bad news.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
was so
Right.
water. Like almost everything was in water for a long
Oh,
part of the year.
okay. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So emotional.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about rituals or like how to work with
Yeah. How to work with
anticipation.
it. Yeah. What are KP, how are you gonna work with all this energy? How are you gonna
My time
give us
planning.
the KP, yeah, routine, like end of the year, projecting onto the next year rituals?
So I do a few. It changes every year slightly because I follow my gut. But one of the first places I start is I look at my time lords, which is a concept in ancient astrology that I really subscribe to after I started
Yeah.
practicing it. So I consider having 3 Time Lords at any given moment. The first
Oh,
type of Time Lord is a chart ruler, which is your birth chart's rising signs ruler. So if you're
okay.
Capricorn rising like me, your ruler is Saturn. So
Okay.
whatever Saturn is doing in the sky, I take that as my guide or my teacher. So that's another reason why I'm like really focusing on Saturn moving into Aries. Because he, for my
Oh,
entire life, is showing me the way
yeah.
and Saturn is not an easy guide. He asks a lot of Saturn ruled people. So that's my
Yeah.
first Time Lord. So he's my Time Lord for life. Yeah. Question.
Question. So for my Leo rising, since the sun is my time lord in that respect, how would I look at the sun? Like the sun's moving through every sign,
Every 30 days.
like that's just what I would look at.
Yeah. Yeah. I would
That's
really
a
like
lot.
so you're a month by month person, just
Oh,
in general. Yeah. And where like my projects, like it's wild. I talk to Chelsea about this all the time. Like my projects
yeah.
tend to be 2.5 years long or 7 years long, like Saturn kind of intervals. Okay, so that's the
Yeah.
first Time Lord. I don't think it's technically a Time Lord, but I say Time Lord. The
Okay.
second type of time lord I look at is my solar return for my most recent birthday. My most recent birthday, the ascendant line was in Libra the moment the sun came back to the degree that the sun is in my birth chart. So that's probably too much math astrology, but
Okay.
every year you have a different ascendant for your solar return. And Libra is mine for my 36th year of life. So then Venus, who rules Libra, is one of my time lords until my next birthday, where I'm a Capricorn rising for my solar return. So I have Saturn at the end of the year in September,
Okay.
September on, but most of the year, Venus is my time lord. So I'm going to look really closely at what Venus is doing. And Venus doesn't slow down until basically my birthday. So that gives me a little hope that like she's my guide before she does all of this retrograde stuff. I'm still going to look very closely at her because I'm Libra dominant in my chart, ruled by Venus.
Is that uh is that making me Sag rising? I can't remember.
I don't remember
If I was
what
looking
yours
at that,
were.
I thought it was Scorpio last year. Now since I just changed, I think it might be Sag, but I can't remember.
Okay, so then Jupiter.
So Jupiter. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, Jupiter changing into Leo might be not might be. Oh, but that happens after your birthday. We'll talk about that off air because
Yeah.
that's your birthday being around solstice is interesting because Jupiter usually changes signs in the solar period. So Jupiter is changing signs into Leo, I think in
I
it's
think you said
in
June.
Cancer season, but
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
The third time lord is your profection year. So it's PRO fection year. And every single person has, how do I describe this? So the age you are corresponds with the house. There's 12 houses. I'm currently in a first house profection year, and my first house in my birth chart is Capricorn. So then
Hmm.
Saturn is my profection year time lord.
Mm. Mm.
And Chelsea, you're currently in a fifth house perfection year, which is
Mhm.
Sagittarius for you. So Jupiter is also your time lord. So you have like
Yeah.
a double up of Jupiter right now, which is cool. That's cool. Lucky. That's nice. Um,
Yeah.
at the end of the year, all my time lords are Saturn for a long time.
Wow.
So yeah, I wonder what's gonna happen for me. I think I'm just gonna have to commit to something, and that's how I'm gonna honor it. That's the first thing that I do is like, okay, what's the energy? My previous year of life for my solar return was Leo rising. So I was doing like month by month, kind of more planning. With Saturn and Venus, the transits are a little bit longer. They are longer than the sun. So I'm just thinking I'm going to work in like 3 month or 6 month kind of looking ahead mentality. Um, the other thing that Chelsea and I are going to be doing in a group is the 12 wishes. You want to talk about
Mhm.
that? Or do
Go for it.
Okay. So, what we're going to do on solstice is we're going to write up 12 wishes that we can feasibly do in 1 year. But we don't necessarily have to do it alone. We can work with spirit or friends or ourselves. So we write 12 wishes, and then for the next 12 nights, we burn one of them without looking at them. So on January 1st, we will have one wish left that we look at, and that's the wish that we have to. Have to seems dramatic, but like that is our task. That's our task is a very Capricorn rising
To
word.
to
Our
put
wish.
effort into.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Consciously move toward. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and we do it in a small group of people, and seeing what our wishes were last year and talking about it recently was like really cool because they all basically, I mean, three of them definitely came true. And then the other two of us are still in our waiting period. That's Chelsea. Um, yeah, which is like the theme for us.
Mm.
That's a really nice one. And then the other one I absolutely do every year is around the first or maybe a couple days before, a couple days after, I pull one card from the tarot for every month just to like help me trust. Yeah. If I'm like planning
Mhm.
something big in a certain month and there is only a minor arcana card in that month, then I may change my mind about when I do it that, in the year.
Mhm.
If there's a major arcana card and everything else is minor arcana, I know that month is going to be big. and it's like 100% that's what happens. Um, that's been helpful, and then I pull a card for myself to, like, guide me as in my values and my truth, and there was
Mm.
when I started teaching that year, I pulled Queen of Cups, and I didn't know that year that I was going to be teaching because it was
Oh.
January, and I started teaching in September. Um, yeah, it was the first time I ever taught something, like, legitimately, and being reminded that the Queen of Cups was my card that year really helped me. It's like, I'm not here to be the Queen of Swords. I'm not giving them
Yeah.
knowledge. I'm here to support them, and I was teaching, like, first years who were all, like they didn't know how to, like, do anything as adults. They were really it was, like first years are my favorite people to teach because they're educated, intelligent people who are not yet brave enough to say what they think.
Oh, yeah.
So my
Mhm.
job as their writing teacher is like, "Just say what you think. Like, I'm the only one
Mhm.
reading this. We're cool.
Mhm.
Like, I'm not gonna judge you. Like, I just want you to practice saying what you think because that is, like that's the skill." Anyway,
Mhm.
okay, so those are mine. What are yours?
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, same. I also am going to do the omen tracking process that we did last year
Oh,
as well.
yeah.
I don't Are you gonna do it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I think we started that did we start that on Christmas or the solstice? I can't remember now.
I think we
Because it was
started it
also
later than
12, but
yeah.
mine went past January 1. So I think we must have when did we start that? Okay, now I need to look it up. But
Yeah,
that's also 12. 12. Maybe I'll start on Christmas. We'll see. Um, and that's just every day for those 12 days. You can do it however you want to do it. Like last year we did like every day at like 11:11 or 3:33 or whatever. You either set an alarm and that alarm goes off and whatever messages you're picking up at that time, write them down, and then that can show up any which way. A symbol or song or what somebody's saying or just like
yeah.
something you're hearing.
I
I don't
lost a
know what
game of
I'm gonna
poker.
You what?
I lost a game of poker once when my alarm went off. That was not a
Really?
great one.
See, you gotta write that down. Yeah, so the omens and, yeah, whatever messages I pick up, that's just a fun thing to see, like, as the months unfold, like, what actually not necessarily comes true, but, like, how those, messages or symbols play out in that month, and we did have that happen too this past year.
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw a lot of those symbols and messages.
Yeah. There's some very
Yeah.
personal ones that I'm not gonna mention, but it was, like,
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do that.
By the way, I just need to credit that omen walk comes from the astrologer Hawk. I don't know Hawk's last name, but brilliant astrologer and, like, omen witch, or maybe I don't know if
Yeah.
they say witch, but yeah. So just calling that out. I don't know if they're
Yeah.
they're guiding an omen walk this year because they usually do it every year, but I haven't seen anything
They
from them.
actually go on walks?
Well, they lead it
Or
online,
like
like yeah,
oh, cool, okay.
yeah.
Yeah, sweet. So that what else? Oh, of course, I get a new planner each year, and I like to kind of charge it up before the year starts, do some kind of ritual around that, and then I like to flip ahead to different pages, not even looking at what the page is or what the
Oh,
day
yeah.
is, and just write in something that I want to happen. So, like, writing in your wishes or your manifestations, like, it could just be, like, feeling empowered and like a goddess or,
Yeah,
go on a date with a new friend or, win $1,000,000, like, whatever. Um and it's just kind of fun. Whether those play out or not, who cares? When you get to it in your planner, you're just like, "Oh, yeah." And like sometimes those have lined up for me and I'm like, "Holy shit, like wow, I did like sell this piece of art on this or like near this
yes,
day or
that's
this week."
wild.
I'm like, "Wow, that's so cool."
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'll probably go on a walk. Actually, no, last year we did our little ocean plunge. Um January 1st in the morning. So there's a lot of people that gather over by the ocean and jump in. So I'll probably do that and then maybe take myself on a little walk or a hike. And I like to just kind of pay attention to what I'm noticing on that walk. Usually I go alone. Last year I saw a a pretty big coyote on the trail I was on, and and it was pretty foggy, in the morning, and I came upon this ridge, and, like, just, like, smack dab in the middle of the trail is just this coyote just looking at me, and I was and I'm not, like, really that afraid of coyotes, but he was so big and, like, he wasn't moving, he was unwavering, and he was just standing there, and I was like, "Alright, this is your trail." I literally just turned around and, like, went back the other way. I was like, "Okay, that's my, like, guide for the year." And I have been seeing a lot of coyotes out here. I mean, we
Yeah,
have a lot out here, but, they have been popping up a lot more in the daytime and on trails. They're cute. So,
yeah,
we'll see what I say this year. I mean, there's not that many, like, animal options where I live, so it's not like, "Oh, I'm gonna see a bear," like,
penguin.
or it's like penguin. So, yeah, but I'm open to anything. What else? What else? I don't know. I just love, like, end of the year, beginning of the year
Yeah,
energies because I think it's just a nice time to, like, reflect and it's just like hitting that reset button, and just being like, "Alright, like,
yeah,
let's gather that excitement again," you know? Gather that excitement for what's possible. Like, I love starting off the year just thinking, like, of all the possibilities, everything that
yeah.
could go right.
I like how you approach things too, like with the putting things in the planner, like random day, you're gonna get kissed or like something like that. And if it doesn't happen, the way that you talk to me about it is like, well, whatever, like because like you're so relaxed about if things don't need to, So I think that's how also
Yeah.
how I approach the New Year's. Like
Yeah.
I'm planning a lot, but like if nothing happens, that's okay.
You really have to just trust, right? It's like,
Yeah,
if something doesn't happen, like, I have to trust that it just wasn't the right timing or there's something else or,
yeah,
there's good reasons for that. I truly believe that because like, there's stuff that that I don't know, that I couldn't know, right? Other stuff behind the scenes in the unknown that I don't need to know or that, there's just other factors involved, and I'm like, "Alright, well, there's something. Otherwise, it would be here, I'd be in that, and it'd be unfolding." And so
yeah.
I trust that even though it's hard, it's hard because 'cause you're like, "Why not now? Why not this?"
But, like, we
Yeah.
have to think ahead and if we want our dreams to come true. We have to take action, we have to plan.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
Capricorn rising. Yeah.
My time, Lord.
My Tam daddy. This
Well,
is so
that feels like this is so fun, I love
yeah.
this. Does that feel complete? Do you feel like there's anything else you wanna add?
There's always so much to talk about, but
Ugh,
we are
indeed.
publishing or we're starting up season 2 soon for Parts and Charts, so
Yeah. Stay
that's
tuned, folks.
we're gonna be meeting every week and chatting again. I
I
missed it.
can't wait. And we are gonna host a retreat. There will be more details. I know it's gonna happen this year. Don't know where, don't know when,
Probably May and
but
June.
probably May or June, and it's gonna happen. Stay tuned. We'd love everyone to be there. It'll be parts, charts, and arts, plus more. You're the best. Thank you for being here.